Hey everyone, Alistair Clark here from Sunrise Grower Services. Welcome to our third MapRice GIS tutorial video for the current rice season. In this video, we're going to be looking at converting the seed orders that you'd submitted into actual planting records. The seed orders that you'd originally submitted in MapRice have since been converted into planned planting records. These planned planting records are kept in the Plan tab on the left-hand side of the page. So if we click on this Plan tab, that's going to bring us up a list of all of the paddocks that seed orders were created in and give us a brief overview of the details. So for these three paddocks going down the page here, highlighted in yellow and shown on the list on the left here, I know that I'd done seed orders for Razik at 140 kilograms per hectare. And what I want to do is actually go through and convert these from a planned event to an actual event to push those details through to Sunrise. If I click on this, on the particular paddock here from the list, that's going to highlight that paddock in blue on the left-hand side there, and then on the right-hand side, bring up that paddock name and the details where we can go through and confirm. Now, for this particular paddock, all of the details are the same. I planted Razik at 140 kilograms into sheep wash 5, so into that paddock. All I need to do is update the date to the actual date that it was planted on. If I click here on the Do button, what that's going to do is on the left-hand side, bring up the details in some more detail. And once this wheel stops spinning, that'll mean that it's fully loaded. I can click on the calendar button here for when and who to say what the actual date of the planting was. Now if I come in through here and say this crop was planted on Monday. So that's there completed. The date's correct, the hectares, the paddock's correct. It was done direct drill, it was Razik at 140 kilograms. So this planned planting record can now be saved and converted to a completed record. So I'm going to click Save here and push that one through. And see, this will load through, and what we'll notice is that record is no longer showing up as a planned event, and it's also no longer showing up as a yellow highlighted paddock on the right-hand side, but instead as a green highlighted paddock, confirming to us that it has been confirmed as an actual planting record. Now to view that completed planting record, what we can do is come back by clicking the back button in the top left here to the completed button, which is on the left hand side just below the planned one. And in this tab, we'll be able to see the completed tasks. Now initially it's showing this for the last 2 seasons, but what I'm going to do is just push that through to the current season using the calendar tab on the top left here and mark that as the 1st of July. And now I can see just the record for CY21. So with that paddock there, you're able to review the completed planting record and check that that's correct. If you need to change any of the details, similarly to the plan, the functionality on the plan page, we can just click on that line and you'll get an option to edit that record to reflect any of the details that want to be changed. Now that we know how to do that, what I want to do is go back to the plan page and show you how to confirm a planting event if some of the details have actually changed. Now, coming back into the planned event, we can see the other 2 sheep wash paddocks at Rappel. So as an example of a more complicated planting record, what I want to do is show you an edit on sheep wash 6, the second paddock here, of how to change the details of the paddock and also of the sowing rate. Now, when I initially created my seed order, I'd said that I was going to plant this crop into paddock sheep wash 6 and it was going to be at 140 kilograms per hectare. What's actually happened is I've ended up planting that in a smaller paddock, and in doing so, I've lifted the sowing rate to use up the total seed that I had available. Now, what I'm going to do that is I'm still going to click on the Do button because I want to convert this to an actual in one go, but I'm going to edit some of the details before saving. So I click on the Do button here. And once this loads up, what I'm then going to be able to do is actually go through the details to change. So on the left-hand side here, what I want to start with is the What and Where tab to change the date and also the paddock. If I click on the Edit button here, what it's going to allow me to do is similarly to the record that we've already saved, come in and change the date. So again, this one was planted on the Monday just been, but I'm also going to change the paddock. So currently we've got it as in sheep wash 6. I'm going to delete that one, which was roughly 18 hectares, and say that it was actually put in to sheep wash 4. And to do that, similarly to when we created our seed orders, all I need to do is just click on that paddock, and it's now loaded there and highlighted in yellow. So these details now are correct. I've got the correct date, I've got the correct paddock, so I'm going to click on OK. And once that loads through, that's going to be now reflected on the left-hand side here. So the date and the paddock has come through that we've just changed. To then change the planting record part of it, what I wanted to come in and change is this area. So I'm going to click on that second edit button for the lower part of the page. Now in these details, it was still done as direct drill. It was still planted as Rosique, so those details are going to stay the same, but I'm going to lift that sowing rate up to 155 kilograms per hectare. And it's just a matter of clicking in there and changing that value. Once that's done, I can then click OK again, and I'm returned to the final confirmation page. Here I can quickly review the details. The date's correct, the paddock's correct, the sowing rate's now correct as well. So I click on the save button, and once that's pushed through, we'll see the same thing as before, where now it's no longer in the planned list of tasks there. If we zoom out, it's also now highlighted in green along with the other sheep wash paddock. And if I come back into the completed page, and again, changing that date, I now have both of those records saved there. Now the last thing I wanted to show you is for creating an actual planting record for those who weren't able to submit their seed orders into the MapRice program. And so say you did it manually through the grower services team. To do that, the record, there's not going to be a planting record already showing up as a planned event, and you don't need to create a mock seed order either. The easiest way is actually to go directly to the events part of the page and click on the plant button down here and go through creating a distinct planting record. If I click on that plant button, what that's going to do is bring up a similar page to the editing details that we've seen on with the last couple of planned records. Now I can see here that it's already going through as an actual record, which is what we want to do. We can skip that planned step. And I then want to update the date. This one was planted on Tuesday, so it's going as a planting record, so that can be stated yes. And then I need to click my paddock. So this one ended up going into sheep wash 2 and sheep wash 3, but for some reason I wasn't able to create it as a seed order, so I'm just going to do it manually as a planting record. So from there I can click on the next button, and that's going to take me through to the planting details page, similarly to what we saw before as well. So I'm going to come in and say that it was done as direct drill. The variety for this one was Sherpa, and the sowing rate that it was planted at was 140 kilograms per hectare. So once those details are in, I can click next again, and that's going to push this through. Before saving it, I just want to review my details. Planted on the 12th, 2 paddocks of Sherpa at 140 kilograms. I can see the paddocks highlighted in there yellow, so I can then click on the save button, and that's going to push that through. And so this step will obviously skip the plan page. Those records isn't going to be seen in there. It's already highlighted in green the 2 paddocks that we've just confirmed as being planted. And in the completed tab, I can see that in the list here. If I sort on the date, we can see those 2 paddocks there. But just to make it a bit easier, again, I'm going to skip to see just what I'm doing for this season. If I search that, we can see those 4 paddocks there. The 2 of Rosique, which were initially created as seed orders and can be converted to planting records, and then the 2 that have been created as just a planting record alone. So now we have those 4 planting records in there, and my sunrice planting details are updated. Okay, great. Well, that wraps up on confirming planting records and having them completed in MapRice. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself and any of the other members of the Grower Services team. We'd be happy to help you along. Keep an eye out for any other videos as we go along, and also our webinars that we've been running through the year as well. Thanks very much.